Pakistan has been described as a failed state, a rogue state, and a state which uses terrorism as an instrument of state policy. It's avoided economic collapse by leveraging its unique geography to secure military and economic support from the United States, China, and Saudi Arabia. But it also has another definition, that of a rentier state, a state that derives a substantial portion of its national revenues from external resources rather than domestic economic activity or internal taxation. Now, Pakistan has no natural resources of its own. Its economy is floundering, and it has among the world's lowest tax-to-GDP basis in the world. It depends on the IMF and World Bank handouts to survive. But what it has is the world's seventh largest military, nuclear weapons, 500,000 soldiers, and a military industrial complex that makes everything from small arms to ballistic missiles. And in Field Marshal Asim Munir, Pakistan now has a de facto military ruler who is willing to leverage his military for economic gain. President Trump has called Asim Munir his favorite field marshal. Munir has visited the US 3 times in 2025, including a private lunch with Trump in the White House and a formal visit with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif here in the Oval Office. The Pakistan Army has concluded a deal for mineral extraction with a US company, and it's even offered the US Pasni port to develop. Pasni is in Balochistan, not very far from the Chinese-developed Gwadar port. Now, in Gaza, for instance, the Pakistan Army is one of the front-runners to provide troops for the International Support Force that's part of President Trump's post-ceasefire peace plan. The Pakistani officials, including Defense Minister Khwaja Asif and Deputy PM Ishaq Dar, have supported a purely peacekeeping role but rejected any mandate involving peace enforcement or disarming Hamas. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has expressed gratitude for Pakistan's offer to consider participation in this new US-backed force. And reports speculate that Pakistan could deploy between a brigade to a division of infantry in Gaza. That's between 3,000 to 20,000 soldiers. There are serious internal issues inside Pakistan against such a deployment of the Pakistan military into Gaza. In September 2025, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia concluded a mutual defense pact. Now, the pact has a collective defense clause which terms any act of aggression against one country as aggression against both. That's very similar to NATO's Article 5. It remains to be seen if that will actually be implemented in spirit. Now, there has been speculation over decades that Saudi Arabia can actually get access to Pakistan's nuclear arsenal. This is supposed to be in exchange for Saudi funding for Pakistan's nuclear weapons program in the 1980s and the 1990s. Now, Pakistan has also deployed troops in Saudi Arabia post the 1979 siege of the Grand Mosque. Over 1,000 Pakistani soldiers are deployed in the kingdom at any given point. But ties with Saudi Arabia could face a challenge because Pakistan is also close to the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia and the UAE are no longer best friends. Now, on the 26th of December, UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed conducted his first official visit to Pakistan, his first state visit, that is. Ties between the two countries were elevated to a strategic and mutually beneficial economic partnership. There was no defense pact, but there was a very interesting visit some days prior to this summit visit by the UAE president. Field Marshal Asim Munir visited Benghazi in Libya between the 17th and 18th of December. He had high-level meetings with several officials, including General Khalifa Haftar. He's a warlord who controls eastern Libya. Now, Munir has concluded an agreement to sell arms worth over $4 billion to Haftar's faction. The deal includes JF-17 fighter jets, tanks, Mushak fighter trainers, and even naval systems. This is Pakistan's largest defense exports deal. Now, this deal has drawn scrutiny for potentially violating a UN arms embargo on Libya that's been in place since 2011 to prevent weapons from fueling the civil war between Haftar's LNA and the UN-recognized government of national unity in Tripoli. The arms to Haftar could strengthen his faction, potentially shifting the power balance and complicating unification efforts. Now, interestingly, Haftar is also close to the UAE. The UAE has provided him with extensive military, financial, and logistical support since 2014. So there's clearly more to the UAE-Pakistan relationship than meets the eye. Now, Munir is playing a high-stakes game, and 2026 will be the year where he takes on more such risks or pays the bills for adventurism.